Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Holder has stated that President Trump cannot be charged with any type of criminal behavior outside of his presidency. The reason that Eric Holder is saying this is because that he knows that Hillary Clinton will be subject to that type of situation in terms of bribery, racketeering, graft, campaign finance violations, Espionage Act. We can list the litany. Collusion statute 18370, when we can talk about the litany of statutes that would fall under Clinton. He's stating that, Eric Holder, Trump could be prosecuted after leaving office, but at a potential cost to the nation. Yeah, because actual Democrats who were actually guilty of specific crimes, not fabricated, trumped up, no pun intended, obstruction or campaign finance violation because he had a romantic relationship that was paid for through an arrangement. Michael Cohen literally pled guilty to things that were not crimes. Simply because Michael Cohen was indicted or pled guilty to alleged campaign finance violations doesn't mean that Trump is guilty of campaign finance violations. You have top secret intelligence on servers outside of the United States government that James Comey said happened because Clinton unintentionally, there was no intention to circumvent laws. Of course, there was intention to circumvent laws to hide Clinton Foundation emails. The Clinton Foundation pay-to-play schemes, Boeing, UBS, Haiti, 85 donors giving $156 million and miraculously meeting with Madam Secretary. Uranium One executives giving millions of dollars, and then Bill Clinton meeting with Vladimir Putin at his home. That is a fact. You talk about all of these issues. The key here is who actually committed crimes. If a person commits crimes, it doesn't really matter if he's president or just an average citizen like you and me. If he's committed a crime, if she has committed a crime, then it shouldn't matter if they're no longer president or they're no longer CEO or they're no longer working at any place, a restaurant, whatever. The issue here is that they know that they have pushed the envelope to the point where it would now affect them. So Eric Holder is like, Trump could be prosecuted, but really it would be a potential cost to the nation, because, we don't really want to prosecute people who have left office. So former Attorney General Eric Holder said in an interview broadcast Saturday that President Trump could easily be prosecuted for allegedly breaking campaign finance laws after he leaves office, but warned that such a case could come at a potential cost to the nation. Excuse me? You have a Donna Brazile article in Politico where $80+ million was funneled from the DNC, and Tulsi Gabbard talked about this. The Clinton campaign in 2016, and she's running again in 2020. We'll get to that in a second. The Clinton campaign in 2016 funneled tens of millions of dollars from what they call down-ticket Democrats, from state parties into her campaign. The Correct the Record was an extension of the Clinton campaign. We can go on forever. What they did in terms of campaign finance violations, purchasing the Steele dossier, I wrote in the Daily Caller, Hillary Clinton should be indicted for campaign finance violations from the Steele dossier, funneling money from the campaign into a law firm to pay for the Steele dossier. That is a campaign finance violation. The fact that the Steele dossier was used to surveil Trump administration officials, that alone is another conflict of interest. But all of this proves, ladies and gentlemen, that she's running again. All of this is meant to level the playing field, to make everything morally relative, because the criminality is so rampant on one end of the political spectrum. So on one end of the political spectrum, the criminality is just too much. And so their vantage point is, accuse Trump of everything under the sun, Get Michael Cohen on things that he committed as a private citizen, and then try to tie those things into allegations against Trump. Have him plead guilty regarding those allegations, and then just see where the cookie crumbles, where the ball bounces, and see if we can get some kind of indictment on Trump. Oops, we didn't after 2 years of the Mueller probe. But, we'll still keep that hope alive that, he could then get, charged with some type of campaign finance violation or even obstruction after he's left office. Every single aspect of Trump-Russia is linked to Clinton, from Alexander Downer's, the Steele dossier, to CrowdStrike. If the tables were turned, and this is the big problem I have with Democrats. Democrats think, well, we're just playing the game of politics. No, Clinton just plays the game of politics better than everyone else. The game is really, really cutthroat, and she's really good at it, so she's fantastic. No. The media serves as a buffer. So the media allows things that they would never allow if Trump or a Republican or any conservative had done them. Actually, if Trump had done them, because they give a free pass to conservatives, at least if you're linked to Bush. So Bush and Obama and Clinton, they're all part of the same corrupt establishment type of situation. Now, Eric Holder, there's a cost to the nation by putting Trump on trial. You're not going to get Trump on trial. If you didn't get him while he was president with Michael Cohen and the Mueller probe and everything, the hysteria that said that Trump worked with Russia, and we know that to be a debunked fantasy. He did not work with Russia to buy Facebook ads. The Steele dossier was purchased by Clinton. He did not engage in election interference with Russia. Now, whether the Russians engaged in election interference, they didn't. The notion is absurd. Why would they have engaged in election interference when Bill Clinton met with Vladimir Putin at his home outside of Moscow? Why would they have done that? Do you think that they were afraid of Democrats? And then the rebuttal is, well, Trump wants to weaken NATO. No, he doesn't. NATO is not weakened. If they have to pay a little bit more, big deal. They're paying for us to defend them, big deal. They're also paying for us to manipulate them into failed and utterly catastrophic military interventions like Libya. So, it's like, well, Putin wants to weaken Western alliances. It's like, look, these Western alliances, whether it's President Trump or President Clinton, are basically the same type of alliances. NATO is just the same. If Putin wants to invade Poland, which, by the way, Germany did, not Russia, which is absurd. Russia has the 12th largest economy in the world? They're losing money on the Ukraine now. They couldn't even invade New York or LA or any major city without, bankrupting the entire country. Okay, the Cold War is over. As President Obama stated to Mitt Romney, the 80s want their foreign policy back. This absurd narrative is only to pave the way. They are guilty of everything that they accuse Trump. They project. They're the ones who presided over a sale of 20% of U.S. uranium capacity. But see, the thing is, they don't care. They don't care about election interference because they're the ones who purchased the Steele dossier. And the IG report right now is in William Barr's hands. Andrew McCabe's going to get indicted, and whether it's October, November, December, January, or after Iowa, Clinton is running. I don't care when she runs. She's running. And I'll tell you this. How do I know she's running? Because you would have to be, if you were Madam Secretary at this moment, you would have to be an absolute fool to not run. Because forget about the fact that there's an unbridled quest for political influence not seen since authoritarians of years past. But think about it. Who is the front runner? Clinton. Okay, the exhumed body known as Botox B, he's not. Warren and Bernie are two sides of the same socialist coin that when I liked Bernie Sanders, when I was writing about Bernie Sanders, he wasn't the Bernie Sanders of today. Real Bernie Sanders voters are okay with Trump supporters. It doesn't mean that their values align 100%, but their values align a lot. Policies align a lot. Against the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Wanted to focus on some kind of tariffs with China. Wanted to bring home Americans from counterinsurgency conflicts. Criminal justice reform, which is what President Trump signed. President Trump is a good president. Okay, so when I was writing about Bernie Sanders, and I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, and the Washington Post called me the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, yes, there is a direct correlation between why you should vote for Bernie and why you should vote for Trump. And I explained in the Federalist why Bernie supporters should vote for Trump. But again, nowadays, it's a completely different story. Bernie is reviled. The I'm With Her crowd despises him. The Tulsi Gabbard crowd, which I resonate with now to an extent. I don't know if I would vote for Tulsi Gabbard if she won the Democratic primary in 2020. Maybe in 2024, I'm not sure. If the Democrats don't completely rebuild after they lose again with Clinton, I wouldn't vote for Tulsi. I'd vote for a Trump or whatever. The Democratic Party, you're talking about a political party that represents an existential threat to the United States of America. And this is not hyperbole. Democrats are, with their affinity for corrupt intelligence officials and their willingness to ban and their willingness to just erase and cancel not only human beings and just because of an offensive tweet someplace, but their penchant for trying to just basically cancel out actual Bill of Rights, First Amendment, Second Amendment, censorship, ban this, ban that. I mean, they are completely and utterly out of control. And the reason is they cheated Bernie Sanders and they don't know what to do. They don't really have a really passionate base of voters. So what they have to do is let all the most maniacal voices be heard. They just have to say, look, whatever you believe, as long as you're passionate about it, just spout it out. And whatever nonsense comes out, there'll be some people who are really passionate, better than what we have now. And so Clinton eventually will swoop in, you want me, the Russians, but the Russians. Okay, fine. Why aren't I 50 points ahead, you might ask? And everyone's going to fall in line again. Clinton in 2020 will probably go on Howard Stern. She'll probably do more interviews. She'll probably be less guarded. She'll probably be more open. She might even cry. She might, who knows? She'll be a different candidate. She'll try to revamp herself as somebody who's different from President Trump. And she'll try to say, look, I can beat this man. I almost beat him in 2016. Now, if I just spend a little bit more money and I just get focus on certain states, I can defeat him. That ain't going to happen. She'll lose again. Again, that's irrelevant. If she doesn't run, she would be a fool not to run. So that's how I know for sure she's going to run. In addition to the fact that she's been running every single day from First Lady until today. And after 2020, when she loses, she'll run again in 2024. And oh my God, no. She's just a private citizen. She's just a private citizen. She's a private citizen. She's a private. She just wants to be a normal human being like you and me. She might miss the filing date. She would never, push the country into another 2016. It's going to be Biden. It's going to be Warren. Because, don't you know, she's not even on the debate stage, man. And she said that she's not going to run. Who cares? She also said that she survived Bosnian sniper fire. Did that happen? No. Well, but she says she's not running. Why would she say something she didn't mean? Because that's what she always does. Okay? Look, they try to make Trump with the Pinocchios and the "we fact-checked Trump, and he has told 25,000 trillion billion lies." They didn't. If they did that with Clinton, it would have been twice as many. From the hyperbole to the puffery to the overt lies to the just bending of the truth to the most absurd statements. Democrats are like, well, you can't prove that Loretta Lynch didn't speak about golf, pregnant grandchildren. It's like, well, they hide behind absurdity. And then they say, well, it could have happened. They're very coy, and it's their petulance that will do them in once again. Because they think that politics is this nasty blood sport that they can just, they get away with, everything with the media. They don't realize that there's a reason they lose. And the reason they lose is they're actually more corrupt than Republicans. Yes, it's true, Democrats. The reason you're going to lose in 2020 with the Golden Moo Madam Secretary, with Clinton versus Trump and a repeat, is that you're more corrupt. And when you lose again, you will then say, oh my God, but this time the entire Democratic Party will be obliterated. So, everyone watching here, you should want, not just expect, but want Clinton to run. And the whole notion that Eric Holder's like Eric Holder is this legal, yes, he was Attorney General, but he wasn't pure as the driven snow. He was a part of many controversies. I believe he was still there when the IRS scandal took place, but I know he was there with Fast and Furious and everything else. And I know he was held in contempt of Congress. And I know he openly boasted about how loyal he was to President Trump, whereas if William Barr is loyal, oh my God, authoritarian Trump! Democrats are the most disingenuous and duplicitous hypocrites. They don't even understand what the word hypocrisy means, because to them it's like, well, we're Democrats, we can do anything. It's like, no, not really. In fact, you're a bunch of hypocrites. So anyway, give me your thoughts below. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel right this second. Eric Holder said that Trump shouldn't be charged after the election in 2024 because he's going for 2 years, two terms, and he's going to defeat Clinton yet again. Give me your thoughts. Thank you so very much. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel right this second. Check out H.A. Goodman's sports channel below. Thank you.